The mining station New Sol floated in the dark space around the frozen moon Creo 7 like a metal flower made of steel and glass. Inside the station, yellow lights hummed quietly in the maintenance bay, where Tae-ho Kim worked alone during the night shift. His hands moved with practiced skill as he repaired a broken plasma cutter. The tool sparked once, and then glowed with steady blue light. Tae-ho smiled and set the cutter down on his workbench. At 28 years old, he had been fixing machines since he was old enough to hold a wrench. Other workers often brought him their broken equipment because he had a gift for understanding how things worked. He could look at any machine and somehow know what was wrong with it. The station was quiet at this hour. Most of the mining crew was asleep in their quarters. Only the night shift workers moved through the corridors, their footsteps echoing softly on the metal floors. Tae-ho liked working at night. It was peaceful, and he could think clearly while his hands stayed busy with repairs. A sharp beeping sound broke the silence. Tae-ho looked up from his work and saw red lights flashing on the communication panel near his workbench. The emergency signal receiver was active. This was strange because emergency signals were supposed to go directly to the command center, not to the maintenance bay. Tae-ho walked over to the panel and pressed a few buttons. The screen came alive with dancing lines and numbers. The signal was coming from somewhere on the planet below. Cryo 7 was a dead world covered in ice and snow. No life could survive on its frozen surface where the temperature stayed at minus 200 degrees. The signal pattern made Tae-ho frown. It was not like any Federation distress call he had ever seen. The mathematical patterns were too complex and too organized. It looked more like engineering data than a cry for help. But there was something desperate about it, something that made his chest feel tight with worry. Tae-ho saved the signal data to his personal tablet and tried to analyze it further. The more he studied the patterns, the more confused he became. Mixed in with what looked like distress codes were detailed technical drawings. The drawings showed machines he had never seen before, but somehow they made sense to him. His mind could follow the flow of energy through the strange devices even though he did not understand what they were for. The maintenance bay door slid open with a soft hiss. Commander So-Jin Park walked in wearing her blue uniform. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and her sharp eyes quickly took in the scene. She was 40 years old and had been running mining operations for over a decade. Nothing happened on New Sol without her knowing about it. Tae-ho, what are you doing with the emergency receivers? She asked. Her voice was calm but firm. Commander, I picked up a signal from the planet's surface, Tae-ho said. He turned his tablet toward her so she could see the data. Look at these patterns. This is not random noise. Someone or something is trying to communicate. So, Jin looked at the screen for a few seconds and then shook her head. The planet is dead, Tae-ho. There's nothing down there but ice and rock. This is probably just interference from the solar storm that passed through the system yesterday. Equipment malfunctions happen all the time after solar activity. But Commander, look at these technical drawings, Tae-ho said. He pointed to the complex patterns on his tablet. These are not random. They show machines with power flow systems and cooling circuits. Someone created these designs. So-Jin crossed her arms and gave him a stern look. Tae-ho, you are a good mechanic, but you are not a xenobiologist or a communications expert. You are seeing patterns where none exist. Delete this data and get back to your repair work. That is an order. After So-Jin left, Tae-ho stared at his tablet screen. He could not shake the feeling that something important was happening. The signal was still coming through, weaker now, but still there. The mathematical precision of the patterns convinced him that this was not equipment failure or solar interference. He made a decision that would change everything. Instead of deleting the data, he copied it to a secure partition on his tablet. Then he began a deeper analysis, using diagnostic programs he had modified for his repair work. The programs were designed to find patterns in machine behavior, and they immediately found something interesting in the alien signal. The signal was not just random technical data. It was a message with layers of meaning. The basic layer was, indeed, a distress call, but it was written in mathematics instead of words. The deeper layers contained what looked like repair manuals for technology far beyond anything humans had ever built. But most interesting of all, buried in the deepest layer, was something that made Tejo catch his breath. The signal contained detailed scans of the new Sol station. Whatever was sending the message knew exactly where the humans were and what kind of technology they had. It had been watching them and studying their machines. The signal was not a random cry for help broadcast into space. It was a targeted message sent specifically to the human mining station. As dawn broke over the frozen moon below, painting the ice fields in pale orange light, Tejo made another discovery. The signal strength was increasing. Whatever was down, there was getting stronger, or it was moving closer to the surface, and according to his calculations, the signal would reach maximum strength in exactly 72 hours. Tejo looked out the viewport at the white wasteland of Creo 7. Somewhere beneath all that ice, something was waiting. Something that knew about humans and their machines. Something that needed help and believed that a human mechanic could provide it. He closed his eyes and made a choice that would echo across the galaxy. 3 days passed since Tejo first discovered the strange signal. The countdown he had calculated was nearly over, and the signal from below grew stronger each hour. He could not stop thinking about the message hidden in the mathematical patterns. During his work shifts, his hands repaired machines automatically, while his mind worked on the alien puzzle. Tejo needed help, but he could not ask Commander Sojin. She had made it clear that she considered the signal nothing more than equipment. Failure. So he decided to talk to his friend Dae-hyun Lee, who worked in the mining equipment bay. Dae-hyun was 31 years old and had been working with heavy machinery since he was a teenager. He was quiet and careful, the kind of person who thought through problems before acting. When Tejo found him calibrating a drilling robot, Dae-hyun looked up with tired eyes. "You look like you have not slept in days," Dae-hyun said. He set down his calibration tools and gave his friend a concerned look. "What is bothering you?" Tejo pulled out his tablet and showed Dae-hyun the signal data. "Look at this. Something is sending us a message from the planet's surface. It contains technical drawings for machines I have never seen before, but somehow I understand how they work." Dae-hyun studied the patterns for several minutes. His engineering background helped him see what Tejo was talking about. The drawings showed power systems and cooling circuits, but they were designed in ways that made no sense according to human technology. "This is impossible," Dae-hyun said quietly. "These machines would need materials that do not exist and power sources we have never discovered. But the mathematics are perfect. Whoever designed these knows more about engineering than our best scientists." "The signal is getting stronger," Tejo said. "My calculations show it will reach maximum power in 18 hours. Whatever is down there is trying very hard to get our attention." Dae-hyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at his friend with serious eyes. "You want to go down there, do not you?" "I have to," Tejo said. "The signal is not random. It was sent to us specifically. Something down there needs help, and it believes humans can provide that help." That night, the two friends prepared for an unauthorized mission to the planet's surface. They took a mining shuttle and modified it with extra heating systems and communication equipment. Dae-hyun loaded drilling gear that could cut through the thick ice, while Tejo packed diagnostic tools and repair equipment. As they prepared to launch, another person entered the shuttle bay. Mi-young Choi, the station's xenobiologist, stood in the doorway with a travel pack on her shoulders. She was 26 years old with bright, intelligent eyes and a reputation for curiosity that sometimes got her into trouble. "I know what you two are planning," she said. "I have been monitoring the same signals and I want to come with you." "Mi-young, this could be dangerous," Taehyun said. "We do not know what we will find down there." "Exactly," she replied. "That is why you need a scientist. If there really is something alien on that planet, you will need someone who understands biological systems." The three of them launched the shuttle in secret during the night shift change. The journey to the planet's surface took 2 hours through the thin atmosphere. Tejo guided them to the coordinates where the signal was strongest. The location was in a region of deep ice canyons far from any mining operations. The shuttle landed on a flat area between two ice cliffs that rose hundreds of meters into the dark sky. The temperature outside was minus 190 degrees. Even with their heated environment suits, they could feel the deadly cold trying to seep through their protection. Daehyun set up the drilling equipment while Mi-young took readings with her scientific instruments. "The signal is coming from directly below us," she said. "But according to my scans, it is very deep. We may need to drill down over a kilometer." "Look at this," Taeho said. He was examining his tablet, which showed the signal strength increasing rapidly. "The source is moving. It is coming up toward us." They began drilling through the ice using high-powered thermal cutters. The work was slow and difficult in the extreme cold. Steam rose from the drilling site as the superheated cutting tools melted through layers of ice that had been frozen for thousands of years. After 8 hours of work, they had created a shaft 20 meters wide and 800 meters deep. Suddenly, the drilling equipment stopped working. All three of them looked at their instruments in surprise. The thermal cutters had not broken down. Instead, they had broken through into empty space below the ice. "There is a cavity down there," Mi-young said, checking her readings. "A large one. The signal is coming from inside it." They rigged safety lines and descended into the hole using motorized winches. The walls of the shaft were smooth ice that reflected their helmet lights in strange patterns. As they went deeper, the temperature began to rise slightly, though it was still far below freezing. When they reached the bottom of the shaft, they found themselves standing at the edge of an enormous cavern. Their lights could not reach the far walls, but they could see that the space was huge. The floor was covered with a thick layer of what looked like metallic snow that glowed faintly with blue light. "My instruments are going crazy," Mi-young whispered. "I'm reading massive bioelectrical activity. There is something alive down here." They walked carefully across the glowing floor, following the strongest signal readings. After 20 minutes of walking, their lights began to reveal shapes in the distance. Huge, dark forms rose from the cavern floor like sleeping mountains. As they got closer, the true size of the shapes became clear. 12 enormous creatures lay arranged in a rough circle, each one the size of a small starship. They had long, serpentine bodies covered in what looked like metallic scales. Powerful limbs ended in claws that could tear through steel. Most striking of all were their heads, which combined organic features with clearly artificial components. "Dragons," Mi-young breathed. "They look like dragons, but they are also machines." The creatures were encased in cocoons of biocrystalline ice that pulsed with faint light. Through the transparent shells, they could see the slow rise and fall of massive chests. The dragons were alive, but they were in some kind of deep sleep, or stasis. Taeho approached the nearest dragon and placed his hand on the ice cocoon. Immediately, his tablet began receiving a flood of new data. Technical diagrams, system status reports, and something that looked like medical readings filled his screen. "They are dying," he said quietly. "Their life support systems are failing. They have been waiting here for someone to help them, and somehow they knew that humans would eventually find them." The three humans stood in the ancient cavern, surrounded by sleeping dragon ships, knowing that they had discovered something that would change the course of human history forever. Taeho spent hours studying the data flowing from the sleeping dragons. His tablet screen showed complex diagrams of biological systems merged with mechanical components in ways that should have been impossible. Yet somehow, looking at the designs, he began to understand how they worked. "Their hearts are biomechanical pumps," he explained to Mi-young and Daehyun. "They circulate both blood and coolant through their bodies, but the systems are failing. The power cells that keep them alive are running out of energy after thousands of years." Mi-young knelt beside one of the ice cocoons and took readings with her scientific equipment. "The bioelectrical activity is very weak. They are barely alive. But look at this." She pointed to her scanner display. "Their brain patterns are still active. They are dreaming or thinking even while they sleep." Suddenly, the ice around the largest dragon began to glow brighter. Cracks appeared in the crystalline shell, and steam rose from the fissures. The three humans stepped back as the dragon's massive head began to move inside its cocoon. A voice spoke inside their minds, not through their ears, but directly into their thoughts. The words came slowly, as if each one required great effort. "Human, Mines, we sensed you coming. We have waited so long. Teho felt his heart racing. You can speak to us? I am Velka, leader of this herd. We are the last of the Veltar people. Our bodies are ships. Our ships are bodies. We fled here when our enemies destroyed our worlds. The dragon's thoughts came in waves, bringing with them images and memories. Teho saw great battles in space between the Veltar and a cruel empire called the Hegemony. He saw beautiful worlds burning and entire populations fleeing for their lives. Why did you wait for humans? Mi Young asked. Your species has a gift we have never seen before. You can understand any machine, no matter how strange or complex. You look at broken things and somehow know how to fix them. This gift comes from your chaotic minds, your ability to find patterns where others see only confusion. Velka's massive eye opened inside the ice cocoon. It was the size of a dinner plate and glowed with gentle blue light. But we are dying. Our biosystems are too complex for our own people to repair. We need the human touch. Teho felt a surge of determination. Tell me what is wrong. I will try to help. The dragon shared technical data directly into Teho's mind. The information was overwhelming at first, but gradually his brain began to organize it into patterns he could understand. The Veltar used living computers that grew like organs inside their bodies. These bioprocessors controlled everything from flight systems to life support. The problem is cascade failure, Teho said aloud, working through the data. Your biocomputers are so logical and organized that when one system fails, it causes all the connected systems to fail as well. You need random solutions, chaotic thinking to break the failure pattern. Back on the mining station, alarms were starting to sound. Commander So-Jin had discovered that a shuttle was missing along with 3 of her crew members. Security Chief Hyun-Woo Nam stood in the command center with his arms crossed, looking very angry. They took unauthorized equipment and violated direct orders, Hyun-Woo said. This is a security breach. When they return, they should be arrested and sent back to Earth for trial. So-Jin studied the tracking data on her screen. They went to the planet's surface, to the exact coordinates where Teho claimed he detected alien signals. Maybe he was right about something being down there. Even if there are aliens, we cannot risk contamination, Hyun-Woo replied. Federation protocols are clear. Unknown alien contact must be reported immediately and handled by specialists, not by mechanics and miners. Meanwhile, in the Dragon Cavern, Teho was learning more about Veltar technology. Their ships were not built but grown, like living creatures. Each dragon was born as a small biological seed that gradually developed both organic and mechanical systems over hundreds of years. Your bodies are incredible, Teho said, running his hands along the ice cocoon. You are living spaceships. Your skin is armor. Your blood is coolant. Your organs are computers. Yes, but this makes us very difficult to repair when things go wrong, Velka replied weakly. Our own engineers think too much like our biosystems. They are logical and predictable. When they try to fix cascade failures, they only make the problems worse. Daehyun had been examining the other dragons with his engineering tools. Teho, I think I understand what you mean about random solutions. Look at these readings. Their systems are stuck in logical loops. Each repair attempt follows the same pattern and fails in the same way. We need to think like humans, not like they're computers, Teho said. He pulled out his repair tools and began to study the access points on Velka's cocoon. Can you show me how to connect to your biosystems directly? It is dangerous, Velka warned. If you make a mistake, you could damage both of us. Our biosystems are designed to protect against foreign influences. But I am not trying to control your systems, Teho explained. I just want to introduce some chaos into the logical loops. Human intuition might be exactly what your biocomputers need to break free from the failure patterns. Mi Young looked worried. Teho, you are talking about interfacing directly with alien technology. We do not know what it might do to your brain. We have to try, Teho said. They have been waiting here for thousands of years. They chose this place because they believed humans would eventually find them and help them. I cannot let them down. Above them on the mining station, more alarms were sounding. Hyunwoo had convinced Sojin to implement emergency protocols. A security team was being prepared to go to the planet's surface and bring back the missing crew members. If they have made contact with alien life forms, we must assume they are contaminated, Hyunwoo said. They will need to be quarantined and studied before they can return to normal duty. But in the Dragon Cavern, something remarkable was about to happen. Taeho had connected his diagnostic equipment to Velka's biosystems. For the first time in thousands of years, human creativity was about to touch alien technology. The ice cocoon began to glow brighter as Taeho's chaotic human intuition met the dragon's logical biocomputers. Sparks of electricity danced between organic and mechanical components. The awakening had begun. The connection between Taeho's equipment and Velka's biosystems created a sensation unlike anything he had ever experienced. Information flowed directly into his mind, not as words or pictures, but as pure understanding. He could feel the dragon's pain as damaged systems struggled to maintain life functions. I can see the problem now, Taeho said, his eyes still closed as he interfaced with the alien technology. Your biocomputers are trying to fix themselves using the same logical patterns over and over. They cannot think of new solutions because they are programmed to be perfect and predictable. The biosystems inside Velka's body were vast networks of living circuits that pulsed with electrical activity. Taeho could sense them like corridors in a massive building. Some passages were dark where systems had failed. Others flickered weakly as backup systems tried to maintain critical functions. I need to go deeper into your body, Taeho said. The main bioprocessor is in your chest cavity. I have to reach it physically to make the repairs. The access tunnels are large enough for a human to crawl through, Velka replied weakly, but the environment inside my body is not meant for organic creatures like you. The bioelectric fields could stop your heart. Daehyun looked alarmed. Taeho, this is too dangerous. We should wait for proper equipment and medical support. There is no time, Taeho said. I can feel Velka getting weaker. The cascade failure is spreading to more systems every hour. Soon it will reach critical life support functions. Mi Young was studying her readings carefully. The bioelectric field strength varies in different parts of the dragon's body. If we time it right, you might be able to navigate through the safer corridors. Velka's ice cocoon began to open with a sound like breaking glass. Warm, humid air flowed out, carrying strange but not unpleasant scents. The dragon's massive body was revealed, covered in scales that shifted between metallic silver and deep blue. Each scale was actually a complex biomechanical component. An opening appeared in Velka's chest, revealing a tunnel lined with pulsing organic walls. Bioluminescent patterns provided dim blue-green light that showed the way deeper into the dragon's body. The tunnel was wide enough for Taeho to walk upright. The main bioprocessor is 3 kilometers inside my body, Velka explained. Follow the primary circulation pathway. Do not touch the nerve clusters you will see along the walls. They carry high-voltage bioelectricity. Taeho gathered his repair tools and stepped into the tunnel. The walls around him pulsed rhythmically, like a giant heartbeat. Warm liquid dripped from the ceiling, and the air hummed with electrical energy. Walking inside a living spaceship was the strangest experience of his life. As he traveled deeper into Velka's body, Taeho saw wonders that no human had ever imagined. The dragon's circulatory system carried both blood and coolant through the same vessels. Organic computers grew like coral formations on the tunnel walls, their surfaces covered with patterns of light that showed data flowing through living circuits. This is incredible, Taeho whispered into his communicator. The boundary between machine and creature does not exist here. Everything is integrated into one system. After an hour of walking, he reached a vast chamber inside the dragon's chest. The main bioprocessor filled the entire space, a massive organic computer the size of a building. It looked like a cross between a giant brain and a quantum computer, with millions of neural pathways connecting processing nodes that pulsed with different colors of light. But many of the pathways were dark, and the pulsing patterns were chaotic and irregular. Taeho could see where the cascade failure had damaged the bioprocessor's logical structures. The computer was trying to repair itself, using the same failed methods repeatedly. "I can see what needs to be done," Taeho said. He connected his diagnostic equipment to several access points around the chamber. "Your bioprocessor is stuck because it cannot imagine solutions outside its programming. It needs random input to break the logical loops." "But how can you provide randomness to a biological computer?" Ma Young asked through the communicator. "By thinking like a human," Taeho replied. He began to interface directly with the bioprocessor, letting his chaotic human thoughts flow into the alien system. Human intuition is not really random. It is pattern recognition that works so fast we cannot explain how it works. We see solutions that logical thinking cannot find. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The bioprocessor began to respond to Taeho's input, creating new neural pathways that bypassed the damaged areas. Instead of following rigid logical patterns, the system began to experiment with different approaches. "It is working," Velka said, and for the first time his mental voice sounded stronger. "I can feel my systems coming back online. The cascade failure is stopping." But the repair process was exhausting for Taeho. Interfacing with alien biotechnology required him to think in ways that strained his human mind. Sweat poured down his face as he guided the bioprocessor through increasingly complex repairs. Meanwhile, on the surface, a rescue team from the mining station had arrived at the drilling site. Security Chief Hyan Wu led 6 armed guards down into the cavern. When they saw the enormous dragons, several of them raised their weapons in fear. "Unknown alien life forms," Hyan Wu said into his communicator. "Massive creatures of unknown origin." The missing crew members appear to be in direct contact with the aliens. Commander Sojin's voice crackled through the radio. "Are our people safe?" "Unknown. One of them appears to have entered the body of the largest creature. This could be some kind of alien infection or mind control." Down in the bioprocessor chamber, Taeho was making breakthrough progress. His random human thinking had helped the bioprocessor discover completely new ways to route around damaged systems. The dragon's body was coming back to life as critical systems came online for the first time in centuries. "You have given us something we lost long ago," Velka said gratefully. "The ability to adapt and change. Our people became too perfect, too logical. We forgot how to improvise and take chances." "That is what humans do best," Taeho replied, still working to stabilize the bioprocessor. "We survive by being unpredictable. We fix things by trying random solutions until something works." The chamber around them began to glow brighter as more systems activated. The bioprocessor's neural pathways pulsed with healthy patterns, and damaged sections began to regenerate using the new repair methods Taeho had introduced. But above them, the security team was preparing to extract the human crew by force. Hyunwoo believed that alien contact posed a threat to the entire mining station. He did not understand that he was about to interrupt the most important repair job in galactic history. As Taeho completed the final connections that would fully restore Velka's biosystems, he heard the sound of boots marching through the tunnel behind him. The moment of truth was approaching, when human intuition would either save the dragons or be silenced by human fear. The moment Taeho completed the final repair connections, Velka's bioprocessor exploded into brilliant activity. Millions of neural pathways that had been dark for thousands of years suddenly blazed with new life. The chamber around Taeho filled with dancing lights as the dragon systems came fully online. "It is working," Velka's mental voice boomed with renewed strength. "I can feel power flowing through systems I had forgotten I possessed. Human Taeho, you have given me back my life." The revival of Velka triggered something unexpected. Energy began flowing from the awakened dragon to his sleeping companions through underground bioelectrical networks. The 11 other dragons began to stir in their ice cocoons as Velka shared his restored power with the rest of the herd. Above in the cavern, Mi Young and Daehyun watched in amazement as all 12 cocoons began to crack and steam. "The awakening is spreading," Mi Young said excitedly into her communicator. "Velka's revival is powering up the entire herd." But their celebration was interrupted by the arrival of Hyunwoo and his security team. The guards emerged from the tunnel with weapons, ready, clearly frightened by the massive alien creatures around them. "Step away from the alien life forms immediately," Hyunwoo ordered. "You are all contaminated and must return to the station for quarantine procedures." "You do not understand," Dae-hyun said calmly. "These beings are not dangerous. They have been waiting here for someone to help them. Taeho is inside the largest one, repairing their biosystems." "That is exactly why we need to extract him immediately," Hyunwoo replied. "Unknown alien technology could be controlling his mind or infecting him with diseases we cannot treat." As the security chief spoke, the second largest dragon began to emerge from its cocoon. This was Morthes, Velka's second in command. Her scales were deep purple with silver patterns that glowed as her systems came online. Her massive head turned toward the humans with eyes that held ancient wisdom. "Do not fear us, small humans." Morthes spoke directly into their minds. "We mean no harm to your species. We are grateful for the help your mechanic is providing." Several of the guards stepped back in terror when they heard the alien voice in their heads. One of them raised his weapon toward Morthes, but Hyunwoo quickly ordered him to stand down. "We have protocols for alien contact situations," Hyunwoo said, firmly. "These creatures must be studied by proper scientists before any communication can be established." Inside Velka's bioprocessor chamber, Taeho felt the energy surge as the dragon systems reached full power. The organic computer around him pulsed with healthy patterns, and he could sense similar activity from the other dragons as they too began to awaken. "Your companions outside are afraid of us," Velka observed. "This often happens when species first encounter the Veltar. We are large and strange to most organic creatures." "They are trying to protect me," Taeho said as he disconnected his equipment from the bioprocessor. "But they do not understand that you need help, not quarantine. We must show them that we are friends, not enemies," Velka replied. "Come, let us rejoin the others. I want to thank your companions properly for their assistance." Taeho made his way back through the tunnel system inside Velka's body. The journey was easier now because all the dragon's systems were functioning properly. Bioluminescent guide lights showed him the way, and the bioelectric fields were stable and safe. When he emerged from Velka's chest, he found a tense standoff in the cavern. The security team had their weapons ready while Mi-young and Dae-hyun tried to explain the situation. Around them, more dragons were breaking free from their ice cocoons, filling the ancient chamber with their massive presence. "Taeho," Hyunwoo said with relief when he saw his colleague emerge safely. "Are you injured? Do you feel any effects from alien contamination?" "I am fine," Taeho replied. "Better than fine, actually. I have just helped repair the most advanced biotechnology in the galaxy. These dragons are not our enemies. They are refugees who have been waiting for someone to help them." Velka's massive form rose to its full height as his awakening completed. He was magnificent to behold, a perfect fusion of organic creature and advanced machine. His scales rippled with patterns of light that showed the flow of energy through his biosystems. "Humans of the mining station," Velka addressed all of them. "I am Velka, leader of this refugee herd. We are the last survivors of the Veltar civilization. We came to this frozen world to escape our enemies, and we have waited in stasis for someone who could help us repair our failing biosystems." "Why humans specifically?" Hyunwoo asked, still suspicious, but no longer hostile. "Your species has a unique gift," Morthes explained as she too reached full awakening. "You can understand and repair any technology, no matter how alien or complex. This ability comes from your chaotic thinking patterns, your willingness to try random solutions until something works." Around them, the other dragons were also emerging from their cocoons. The cavern filled with gentle light as 12 massive biomechanical beings came back to life after millennia of sleep. Each dragon was unique, with different color patterns and specialized equipment integrated into their living bodies. "We have knowledge to share with your people," Velka continued. "Biomechanical fusion technology, quantum processing systems, faster-than-light travel methods your scientists have not yet discovered. We offer this freely in gratitude for the help you have provided." Taeho looked around at the awakening dragons with wonder. "You are living spaceships. Each of you is an entire civilization's worth of technology and knowledge. Yes, Velka confirmed. But technology means nothing without friends to share it with. Your mechanic Taiho did not just repair our biosystems. He showed us how to think creatively again, how to adapt and grow instead of just maintaining what we already knew. Suddenly, alarms began sounding from the communicators carried by the security team. Commander Sojin's urgent voice crackled through the static. All teams return to the station immediately. We have incoming ships on long-range sensors, multiple vessels of unknown design approaching at high speed. Estimated arrival time is 6 hours. The dragons exchanged glances, their mental communication creating a low harmonic sound that filled the cavern. The hegemony has found us, Morthes said grimly. Our enemies have tracked us across the galaxy. The awakening of our biosystems must have created energy signatures they could detect. Then we must prepare for battle, Velka declared. His scales shifted to deeper blue as combat systems came online. But this time we will not fight alone. We have human allies now, and together we are stronger than either of our species could be apart. The ancient chamber transformed as 12 living warships prepared for the defense of their new home and their first human friends. The journey back to the mining station took on new urgency, as 12 massive dragons emerged from the underground cavern. Their awakening had restored not only their life functions, but also their ability to fly through space. Velka and Morthes led the herd upward through the shaft that Taiho's team had drilled, their biomechanical bodies adapting to flight mode as they rose. "This is incredible," Mi-young said as she watched from the shuttle. "They are changing shape as they fly. Their bodies are becoming more aerodynamic. Everything about them adapts to their needs," Taiho explained. Their biosystems can reconfigure for different environments. On the surface they looked like sleeping dragons, but now they are becoming living spaceships. Commander Sojin stood in the station's command center, watching the sensor displays with amazement and concern. 12 enormous alien vessels were approaching her mining platform, followed by the small shuttle carrying her missing crew members. Behind them, much farther out but closing fast, were 20 ships of clearly hostile design. "The alien vessels are not attacking," reported the sensor operator. "In fact, they appear to be taking defensive positions around our station." Hyunwoo's voice came through the communicator from the shuttle. "Commander, the aliens are friendly. They call themselves Veltar, and they want to help defend us against the approaching enemy ships." "Enemy ships?" Sojin asked. "The hegemony." Velka's mental voice reached everyone on the station simultaneously. "They are a militaristic empire that destroyed our homeworlds. They have hunted us across the galaxy for thousands of years. Now they have found us here, and they will not hesitate to destroy your station if they believe you are helping us." Admiral Jinsu Bei of the Federation Navy received the emergency transmission while his fleet was conducting exercises 3 systems away. The message from the mining station was unlike anything in Federation records. First contact with friendly aliens, followed immediately by the approach of hostile alien forces. "Set course for the cryo system, maximum speed," Admiral Bei ordered. "Prepare for possible combat against unknown alien technology." But the Admiral's ships were 12 hours away, and the hegemony fleet would arrive in 4 hours. The defense of the mining station would depend on the newly awakened dragons and whatever help the human miners could provide. "We need to coordinate our defenses," Velka communicated to Commander Sojin. "Your station has mining lasers and industrial equipment that could be adapted for combat. Combined with our biomechanical systems, we might be able to hold off the hegemony ships until your military arrives." Taiho found himself in an unexpected position. His unique ability to understand alien technology made him the perfect liaison between human and Veltar systems. He worked frantically to establish communication links between the station's computers and the Dragon's bioprocessors. "Their technology is amazing," he reported to Commander Sojin. "Each Dragon is not just one ship, but an entire fleet's worth of capabilities. They have weapons, shields, repair systems, and manufacturing facilities all integrated into their living bodies. But they are only 12 ships against 20, Dae-hyun observed. How can they possibly win? Numbers are not everything in space. Combat, Morthes explained. The hegemony builds many simple ships with basic weapons. We Veltar are fewer in number, but each of us contains the power and knowledge of an entire world. With human creativity helping us adapt our systems, we will be stronger than our enemies expect. The preparation time passed quickly. Taeho worked with teams of miners to modify the station's industrial equipment into makeshift weapons. Mining, lasers became defensive turrets, and ore processing facilities were converted into ammunition factories for the Dragon's biomechanical weapons systems. "I have never seen anything like this," said Yoonji Kang, a brilliant engineer who had arrived on an emergency supply ship just hours before the crisis began. Human engineering combined with alien biotechnology is creating possibilities neither species could achieve alone. When the hegemony fleet finally arrived, they found not a helpless mining station but a fortress defended by living ships and protected by adapted human technology. The enemy vessels were sleek and aggressive, built purely for war with no consideration for the lives of their crews. "Veltar refugees," came a cold transmission from the lead hegemony ship. "You have infected another species with your chaotic influence. Surrender now and we will make your destruction quick. Continue to resist and we will destroy every human in this system." The hegemony fears chaos because they cannot control it, Velka explained to the humans. They build rigid societies where every individual follows exact rules. They see creativity and adaptation as diseases that must be eliminated. The battle began with the hegemony ships launching coordinated attacks against the station, but they had not expected to face Veltar dragons whose systems had been enhanced by human ingenuity. The biomechanical ships moved in patterns that seemed random, but were actually highly effective tactical maneuvers. Taeho watched from the station's command center as Velka engaged 3 enemy ships simultaneously. The dragon's body shifted and flowed like liquid metal, avoiding weapons fire while returning devastating attacks with bioenergy weapons that adapted to each target. "Look how they fight," Mi-young observed with scientific fascination. "They are not just using weapons, they are becoming weapons. Their entire bodies are combat systems." The mining station's adapted defenses proved surprisingly effective. Industrial lasers designed to cut through asteroids made short work of hegemony armor, while ore haulers converted to missile platforms provided supporting fire for the dragons. But the most remarkable moment came when Morthes was damaged by concentrated enemy fire. Instead of withdrawing from combat, she flew close to the mining station where Taeho connected his diagnostic equipment to her biosystems. Working together, human and dragon repaired battle damage in real time while continuing to fight. "This is impossible," the hegemony commander transmitted. "Organic and mechanical systems cannot integrate so completely. You are violating the natural order." "We are creating a new natural order," Velka replied as he destroyed 2 more enemy ships with bioplasma weapons that Taeho had helped optimize. One where different species work together instead of trying to dominate each other. The battle ended when Admiral Bay's Federation fleet arrived early, having pushed their engines beyond safe limits to reach the crisis zone. The remaining hegemony ships retreated rather than face both dragons and human warships simultaneously. In the aftermath, as the station's crew worked to repair battle damage, a new kind of alliance was born. The Veltar dragons pledged themselves as protectors of human space, while humans offered their unique problem-solving abilities to help awaken other sleeping dragon herds across the galaxy. "This is just the beginning," Velka told Taeho as they watched the sunrise over Creo 7 together. "There are other refugee populations hidden throughout the galaxy, waiting for someone brave enough to help them. With human creativity and Veltar knowledge working together, we can build something the universe has never seen before." Taeho smiled as he watched Federation ships and dragon ships working side by side to establish the first joint human-alien research facility. He had started the week as a simple mechanic fixing broken equipment. Now he was chief symbiotic engineer of the most advanced technology alliance in galactic history. Ne-Young Shin, a Federation diplomat who had arrived with Admiral Bay's fleet, was already working on treaties that would establish formal relations between humanity and the Veltar. Her preliminary agreements granted humans access to biomechanical fusion technology, in exchange for help awakening and protecting other dragon herds. The galaxy is about to change in ways no one can predict, Young reported to Federation Command. Humanity has found its place not as conquerors but as healers and bridge builders. Our gift for understanding and fixing broken things may be exactly what the universe needs. As the story ended, Tejo was preparing for the next mission. A journey to distant stars where more sleeping dragons waited in hidden refuges, dreaming of the day when humans would come to help them wake up and join the growing alliance of free peoples. The herd of frozen alien dragons had waited for thousands of years. But when the human mechanic finally came to help, he brought with him something more valuable than any technology: the hope of friendship between the stars.